All right, this is talk time. Poll results from the U.S. presidential election have been trickling in, and it's a really tight race. There are a few states left to go.
Now, who will be declared president-elect? Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump? The winning candidate needs 270 electoral votes. Well, that has not been achieved yet. But from the results we got earlier before we started on the program, we had about 244 for Trump, and we had about 247 now. You see, he's raised. And we had about 215 earlier for Clinton. And it's still counting.
That's about 23 more to go for Trump.
But it's not over until it is over. Joining us now is a diplomatic historian, a strategic studies professor, Yomi Akinyeye. It's good to have you join us. Welcome.
Thanks for joining us. And on Skype is Sylvester Odion. Good morning, and thanks for joining us again on TVC Breakfast, looking at the U.S. election. Who would have thought would be here at this point? Good morning to you, Sylvester. Prof, Trump looks like he's going to carry the day. Did you expect this in any remote way at all?
It is against all expectations. Going by the runoff to the election, the popular sentiments and the widespread antipathy towards Trump. But we are here. That means, contrary to what we all felt, he was probably speaking the mind of the Americans, that there is a need for a change and that they want their country to move in a new direction. That's what I see unfolding.
Okay. Dr. Sylvester Odion, let me come to you on this. Now, we asked the question, I remember when you were here on the program a few days ago.
Yes.
We asked the question, is America really originally, are they ready for a female president? And someone said, yes, of course they are. But the way it is right now, when it comes to the preference, they seem to have, from the votes we're getting so far, Donald Trump seems to be leading, telling the mind of the average American.
I think the point is that most people mixed the issues in American politics, because essentially most of the analysis were surface analysis. You don't analyze electoral outcomes on the basis of looking at faces. If you look at America very well, just like you have racism in America, just the way you also have male supremacy, in America. And if you look at the electoral history, women were not enfranchised in that country, I think, until about early 60s or so. So if you look at that background, it is not clear whether in 2016 that the Americans are ready to accept, a female presidential candidate. But beyond that, from Europe to America, there has been, a right-wing upsurge. In terms of, reclaiming their traditional values and winning back their country. If you go to the UK, as far back as early 2000, the UK government was already talking about swamping by immigrants. And the entire Europe went ahead to have what they call Fortress Europe. And so immigration was also a major issue in America. And people are talking about retaining their traditional, values. I think these are some of the issues that we need to, to grapple with.
Okay, let me come to the prof in the studio. Now, Hillary Clinton has been described as the most qualified in the history of the United States in terms of candidacy for the presidency. So what went wrong? Is it because she's a woman that she's getting this, or what exactly are the factors that have led to this performance so far?
I think it's more than that. As Odion said, the American public is beginning to feel that America is being de-Americanized, and that there is a need to re-Americanize America. That immigrants are taking over, jobs are fleeing, healthcare is at the expense of people with the wherewithal, and a whole lot of...
Isn't that an irony? When Americans say that, you know, have issues with immigration, America was built on the back of immigrants.
Of course, of course. Their coat of arms, e pluribus unum, out of many one. People came from diverse sources, and but there is a group of people, the white Americans, who feel it is their birthright to make America white, to protect the core values of America, and that the influx of people from all over the place is diluting that Americanness, and they want to return to that situation, which has featured prominently in the rhetorics of Donald Trump.
But in this case, is it more about the ideology or the philosophy of America, or it's about the economy being overswarmed by people from other parts of the world? Because the point there is, when you're talking about when someone makes a statement like, we remember in South Africa where during the xenophobia they were saying foreigners are coming to take our jobs, but they're not just coming to work. There are a lot of people bringing their business in there. There are a lot of people bringing their skills in there.
But even those bringing their skills and businesses, the core Americans, people who regard themselves as the core Americans, see themselves as being at the receiving end of this new change of things, of this new immigration. Of course, those who are coming with skills, coming with knowledge, coming with entrepreneurship. But those who are who see themselves as indigenous Americans feel that the country is being taken over, and that the economy, the society, and everything is operating against those who feel they are Native Americans, and that they want to change from this trend. And that's what Trump has been preaching throughout the electioneering campaign, and he appears to have converted so many people.
Indeed. Odion, now weighing on this for us, if you can, the issues of Obamacare, taxation, immigration, and all the rest of them, these were really on the front burner of, you know, American discourse during this electoral process. Now, the you know, low turnout of blacks, of African Americans during this election, because it is clear that, you know, that was really, I mean, compared to the last time, 2012, 2008, 2016 has recorded about the lowest so far of, you know, African Americans. Is this, you know, some kind of protest against Obama himself, who maybe African Americans believe they have not really done well, you know, under him in this last 8 years, and it's played out in what the result we're having now with Hillary Clinton?
We seem to have lost that line right now.
Okay, we'll see again if we can reestablish that. But I'm sure you do understand.
Yes,
you know,
that the African Americans,
yes,
probably feel they could have done better under Obama, and that Clinton came out on the platform of a continuity with the Obamaism, Obamacare, Obama immigration policies, taxation, and all these things. One would have expected that if the black Americans bought these ideas, they should have come up en masse to vote. So it's really surprising that maybe it's a sad comment. It's probably a protest, a subtle protest of the African Americans against Obama's presidency.
Now, Trump had said it very categorically that policies like Obamacare is going to be one of the first
things
he's going to throw out. He used the word throw out. Yes. He's going to throw it out. And then he talked about building the wall, the border wall against Mexico and all of that. Now, let's look at creating a scenario. If Trump wins at the end of the day, creating a scenario where he is the commander-in-chief, and there has to build a wall. How does that impact on the Mexico-U.S. relation, and even the Central African countries, you know, who use Mexico as a way of getting through into the United States?
Of course, it's going to adversely affect the relationship between Mexico and America. And Trump is saying that he's doing this because he sees Mexico as taking the better of the deal, between the U.S. and Mexico. That Mexico takes the job, Mexico takes the money, and imports drug, criminality, and what have you. Mexicans don't feel very happy about this, and they were all pissed off. They were all angered when their president invited Trump to have a platform to vent his policies and all these things. So it's going to adversely affect the relationship, and the world also is going to close immigration from these African countries that use Mexico as a corridor to the United States. Between Senegal, Dakar in Senegal, and Mexico, it's just like the distance between Lagos and Maiduguri, just 1,600 kilometers. So it's an easy corridor for Africans to go in. Once that wall is in place, immigration from Africa will also be restricted considerably. And of course, those who are in the Africans who are there will start having a second thought about, are we really welcome here? Do we really belong here? And by so doing, the relationship between Africa and the U.S. will also assume a new dimension.
And we had Darcy here, the public relations person of the U.S. consulate here in the studio. And, you know, the question we put to her was, how will African countries fare, especially Nigeria, in the event that Hillary or Trump, emerges president? And as far as she's concerned, at least based on what she told us, Nigeria really has nothing to fear. Now, at this point, really, should the Nigerian government begin to look at seriously a way to align itself in a way that it will benefit the country at the end of the day? If Trump emerges in spite of his attitude towards foreigners, or seeming attitude, let's put it that way.
Well, Nigeria will look at its interest. What is our own national interest in relations with any country? Have we defined it? So, yes, we have it. We have so many Nigerians in the diaspora, in the American diaspora in particular, and they remit a lot of money, which has gone a long way in helping the Nigerian economy one way or the other. So we'll have to reconceptualize and then reanalyze our strategies of relating well with the U.S. in such a way that our vital interests are not jeopardized. Regardless of who comes here, the caliber of Nigerians in the U.S. are such that not many society would like to lose them. In the medical care, in the scientific field, Nigerians are the commanding height. You cannot replace them overnight.
All right, so, Professor Akinye, let's go on a break. We'll come back on this. Stay with us. We'll go on a break now and we'll return. We also hope to establish the lines with Dr. Sylvester Odion joining us on Skype.